without much ado, let's jump in to what the major scale sounds like on the key of, let's take the key of C, for example. All right. So I'm going to put a backdrop behind me and you're going to see what I'm doing. So on the key of C, the major scale will be like this, the C major scale. Did you hear that? Now, this major scale is so important. It forms a foundation for music in general, and a lot of Western music is based on that scale. Now, because there are 12 notes in music, we went over this in a previous episode, remember? There are 12 notes in music, and therefore there are 12 major scales. So C, C sharp, or D flat, D, and so on. I've covered this extensively in other videos. But how are these formed? And how can you rapidly recall every one of those scales? That's what we're going to be working on. So if you don't have enough time right now, I want you to bookmark this video and I want you to come back to it because I'm going to break everything down for you right now. Okay, let's jump in to the concept of the C major scale. Obviously, if we're talking about a C major scale, it would start with the note C, right? It would start with C. So the C major scale starts off with C. And we will call C, in this case, Do. You've probably heard of the major scale, like, but not in notes, in Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So we're going to call the first note in this major scale the Do. Okay? And the Do is the starting note. The starting note could be any of the 12 notes. Okay? Any of the 12. So if we're starting off with C, C is our Do. Okay? Now, with Do, in order to get to the next note in the progression, you need to add a whole tone, or you could say a full step. Now, the way this works is from this note to the note immediately next to it, this one, that is a half step. You see? So from C to C sharp is a half step. From C sharp to D is a half step as well. Therefore, from C to D is a whole step or a full step. So that's the logic I want you to embrace, the logic, right? So from a white note with a black note in between to the next white note, that's a whole step. And then from this one to this one is, again, half plus half, which is 1. You see? So the way the formula goes is Do plus 1. So we're going to add 1, and if we add a full step, we are going to get the Re note. In this case, it's D, because we're on the key of C. So, again, the Re right there, that is D. Okay? I hope this is making sense. If at any point you have a question, I want you to drop the question in the chat or in the comment, depending on how you're watching this. If you're watching me premiere it, drop it in the chat, or if you're watching it after the fact, put it in the comments. Okay. So the formula is Do plus 1 plus 1 plus half. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. When we say plus half, look at the interval between note E and F. Do you notice there's no black note in between? Well, that means from here to here is half. So from E to F is half. So we have Do plus 1 plus 1 plus half, which gives us the Fa note. Remember? So now we're on the Fa. you're going to add another 1 to get the so. And that will give you the G note. See? And then we're going to add another 1 to give us the La note. And another 1 to give us the T note. You see what I'm saying? So let me animate these a little bit for you, and I'm going to play the note as you see each one appear on the screen. So let's start from the beginning, just so you're following along. You get it? That's how major scales are formed. Every one of the 12 keys applies this formula. And the formula, I simply call it do plus 1 plus 1 plus half plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus half. Do plus 1 plus 1 plus half plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus half. That simple. So on the key of C, they're all white notes. All white notes. And it makes it so easy to understand. So take a look behind me. Watch all the notes. They're all white. You see that? All white notes. That is how the major scale is formed, my friend. Now that you know the major scale on the key of C, how about trying a more challenging major scale? How about we take it up 1? Because if we were to take it up 1, you know what's going to happen? A lot of those white notes on the key of C, right, are going to go away. And we're going to have a ton of black notes. But if we do it for 1, I feel if you see me do it for C sharp, I feel you're going to be able to do it for any key, because C sharp, F sharp, those that have a lot of black notes, those are the harder ones. You get what I'm saying? So let's start off afresh. So we're going to take all of these off the board, and we're going to see if we can work together to create a totally fresh experience. That's right. All right, so you got a blank slate. So do is going to be what? It's going to be the C sharp note. And that's going to be this one right here. All right, that's your do, okay? And then we're going to add 1. So do plus 1, think of it like this. Do plus 1 is going to give you this note here. I'm curious to know if you're able to guess what comes next. And if you got a blank piece of paper, or if you downloaded the template that I shared earlier, this might actually help you kind of get ahead. If you can get ahead of me, that'll be good. But I just want you to think out loud. Okay, do plus 1 plus 1. You're going to add 1. Which note will that be? If you add a 1, can you guess what note that will be? Yeah, if you add a 1, it's going to be this note right here. Which, by the way, if we were dealing with the key of, in this case, C sharp, if we're going to call this C sharp, we got to be careful what we name the notes. Because if we are going sharps, we got to go sharp all the way. So it's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you just put a sharp in front. It's going to be C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp. You get what I'm saying? All the way, depending on where the note falls. But we'll worry about that later, right? So do plus 1, which gives us the mi, plus half. And for the half, there is nothing in between these two. So the next note is this. Get it? And then we're going to add another one. +1. And that's going to give us this. And then we're going to add another one. And that's going to give us this. And then we're going to add another one. And that's going to give us this. And finally, we're going to add half. And what are we going to get? We are going to get this. Boom. And that would be, you could say, the C sharp major scale, or based on our little exercise that we had earlier, I'm hoping you remember that this could also be called the D flat major scale. Okay? D flat. All right. This is one of the most difficult keys for pianists to play on, especially because of the nomenclature of the C sharp, or, well, C sharp. To think C sharp, you would have to think E sharp, which messes with people. Then you would have to think, you would also have to think B sharp, and that messes with people. So it's kind of difficult. And just looking at the number of accidental notes, or I should say the number of black notes you have here, it's challenging. But on the key of C sharp, this is one of my favorite keys, actually. The key of C sharp. It's one of my favorite keys. See? See, it's one of my favorite keys. I want to give you some hope that even if you're just starting out and you're like, wow, it looks so difficult, trust me, just come on the journey, okay? Follow along the Fearless Piano curriculum. You'll be glad you did. If you haven't subscribed and you haven't hit the like button, please do so. It helps me, helps the algorithm, and it helps people find these videos, because I'm on a mission to help people learn music the way they need to. Not everyone's going to learn the same way. Not everyone's going to go through reams and reams of sheets of notes. No. Some people are going to get really good by understanding patterns. And if that's you, then these videos are going to help you. Okay? All right. So over the past number of minutes, we've been taking a look at how to form C and how to form C sharp. But moment of truth. The moment of truth. I'm looking for payback. Can you guess what code this is? November 24th, 1935. I wanted it to sound ominous, so you'd pay attention. But the honest truth is, this is a very simple concept. Very simple. Let's go back to what we just looked at. We just took a look at C sharp or D flat. Do you notice that there are some white notes on this key? Yeah? Where are the white notes? This one, the brown ones that are on the white notes, right? Right there, we have two white notes. And that is the idea behind the code I am about to reveal. Let me show you how to think about this secret code. The first one. The first secret code is for the white notes. It's for the white keys, for quick recall. This is just showing you that on the key of C, there are 0 black notes. On the key of D, there are 2 black notes. On the key of E, there are 4 black notes. On the key of F, there's 1 black note. On the key of G, 1 black note. On the key of A, 3 black notes. And on the key of B, 5 black notes. Oh my goodness, I just changed the game for you. I just changed the game. I made it so ridiculously easy. And I call this the Philharmonic Puzzle. Get it? Because that's my name, buddy. The Philharmonic Puzzle. I want you to retain this. It's going to help you. It's going to help someone at least. And I say it's the 24th of November, 1935, because it's really 024. 0 has no value, so it's like 024 the 24th, 11 November, 35. So if you just remember 0241135 as a beginner, this really helps beginners. It helped me, and maybe it will help you. So here's a summary. On the key of C, no sharps or flats. On the key of D, you've got F sharp and C sharp. On the key of E, you got 4 F sharp, G sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. On the key of F, you got 1 black note, B flat. On the key of G, you got 1 black note, 1 sharp, F sharp. On the key of A, you got 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. And on the key of B, you got 5. All the black notes are here. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. That's what this means. So very quickly, let's take a look. And I want you to go watch this over and over again for the patterns. On the key of C, 0 accidentals. All right? 0. The key of E, this used to mess me up, folks. I'm not going to lie. This key, it needs attention. But with a chart like this, it becomes a lot easier. All these keys, my friends, I have been able to navigate them, and I don't need the transpose button anymore. Some folks still looking for the transpose button. Stop the dependency on the transpose button. Learn the key. Learn how it works. It's going to be the best thing you ever did. Like some folks, unfortunately, they get used to using the transpose button. Don't do that. Learn in the key that the music is in. All right. Let's go to the key of F. F has 1 black note, B flat. Go into the key of G. G has 1 black note, F sharp. Go into the key of A. A has 3 black notes, C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Go into the key of B. Now B looks a little bit ominous, but here's the good news. When you are on the key of B, it's like a free ride, a free ticket. Check this out. All the black notes. You see, I'm not even looking. I'm just playing anything that's black on the key of B. It's like a party trick. So I'm playing the do, la, re, sol, right? But I'm playing anything on the black notes because it goes. You see, the black notes are not scary when you know how to use them to your advantage. You see, B is actually quite a friendly key. It's a very piano friendly key to play on. B and even B flat. You know, B flat has its own, but we'll talk about B flat later on. Okay? So what I would love for you to do is bookmark this video. I want you to use these as memory joggers. Like you see a shape, boom, I know that's D. And I've given you the accidentals in the key. I've not given you all of the notes because I want you to get used to seeing them and knowing them. Like when you see this, oh, that's E. See, because it's got 4. This is obviously F. F and G are quite easy. B is quite easy by definition because you got all the 5 black notes in there. See? Easy, my friends. I told you we're going to learn something. And there's your secret code for all of these major scales. So when you're playing any of the major scales, as a beginner, you got to think like this is what I would do if I needed to play like the D it actually took a psychological gearing up. I had to get ready. So I get ready. You're gonna play D major. So one of the things I did, let's go back to keyboard. One of the things I did when I was learning was I would play a major chord. Let's go down. Okay, so I'd hold this and I would gear up to play that major scale. So let's say I'm holding D major. I'd have to think slow. And I've heard some people say, "Well, Phil, isn't it like the more you play, then you can play a lot so that it sticks?" And I'm like, that's not a bad way of doing it. People learn differently, but for me, I needed both. I needed to play, and I needed to memorize it. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong in memorization, because memorization can help you. So I memorized all of the chords, all of the patterns, all the things I showed you just now, all of those patterns of where the accidentals are or where the black notes are, all that stuff, I pretty much hardwired it by observing the patterns, remembering the patterns, and honestly, it becomes like a buddy of yours. You see a buddy, E sharp. Oh, E sharp. I know where you belong. You belong to C sharp. Or you see a chord, and oh yeah, that's an F sharp major 7 flatted fifth, and you have to do very little once you've done the upfront work. I often tell people, put in work for a few days, sustain it by playing, using it in life situations. It will stick. It'll stick. Okay, so let's come away from this. So the lesson was, what I would advise you to do is hold a chord, play a scale. Right? Hold a chord, play a scale. You get what I'm saying? Hold a chord, play a scale, and in that way, you're going to get insanely good quick when you do it daily. Like, these are some of the daily habits that I've recently spoken about. So you want to visualize, how many black notes are in A? 3. How many black notes are in B? 5. Okay? This is what helped me. Like, those of you who've asked the question, Phil, how do you get to where you are? I met a buddy in a store recently, someone who I hadn't met before, and the question was, how do you get so good? Like the reading. And I'm like, to be quite honest, my reading isn't that great. My reading needs a lot of help. But one thing that I spent time on was really anchoring the theory. And I kind of made my own way for it. All right, I told you this was going to be a long one. Let's go to the next section. Secret code for the black notes. So what exactly does this mean? You've probably figured this out. But what this means is, when you're taking a look at the black keys, like C sharp or D flat, the code is as follows. This time it's reversed. On the key of C sharp or D flat, the number of white notes that you have, 2. Get it? So that's what this means. It's kind of reversed. So you have 2 white notes on the key of C sharp. You have 4 white notes on the key of E flat. That's a lot of white notes. That's over half of the scale over half of the scale is what? White notes, because you got F, G, C, and D. So that's a lot of white note influence there. And then on the key of F sharp or G flat, if you wanted to call it, and as you get used to these, you'll see why I avoid calling C sharp under most circumstances, right? Because if you call it sharp, then everything is going to be called sharp. If you call it flat, then whatever you do is going to be called flat. But there are ways to avoid it. if you watch enough of the videos on this channel, it's all going to make sense to you. Okay. And to be quite honest, the black notes are like how do we put it? It's like a reflection. It's like the inverse, not to get all mathematical with you, but it's like the inverse of the white notes. See? It's like the inverse. So, are you ready for the big reveal? All right, let's go there and let me show you what all of this means on the black notes. So if you're on the black notes, what I'm showing you here is pretty much just saying on the key of C sharp, you got 2 white notes. On the key of E flat, you got 4 white notes. On the key of F sharp or G flat, you got 2 white notes. On the key of G sharp or A flat, you got 3. On the key of B flat or A sharp, you've got 5. Okay? Are you ready to take a look at a summary of these black notes? All right. Let's take a look. So, here's a summary. Using the 24235, February 24th, 1935, if you're a numbers person like I am, summary of the white keys in black notes based on the major scales. On the key of D flat, you've got 2 whites, F and C. On the key of E flat, you got 4 white notes there, F, G, C, and D. On the key of G flat, you've got 2. Now, note the way we say B, we call it C flat. So white note, but we call it relative to the flats. Because we say G flat, we're going to make that, it's B, but we can't repeat the B flat. You get what I'm saying? Because we got G flat, A flat, B flat, and we can't say B again, so we're going to say C flat. Remember, I've got videos on all of this on the channel, so keep watching, and it's going to stick. Then we've got A flat, which has got 3, and lastly, we've got B flat. So think about it like this. On the key of D major, not D flat, D major itself, how many black notes have you got? 2. On the key of D flat, how many white notes have you got? 2. You see, it's a kind of inverse. It's like kind of like a mirror image, almost. Not completely, but almost. On the key of E, you got 4 black notes. On the key of E flat, you got 4 white notes. Now, G is an anomaly, right? G flat. This is the one that has a C flat, so it's kind of odd. On the key of A major, you got 3. On the key of A flat major, you got 3 white notes. See, A major, you got 3 black notes. A flat major, you got 3 white notes. And on the key of B flat, which is like the inverse of B, you got 5 white notes on B flat. That's absolutely exciting. And that's why a lot of church musicians and a lot of keyboardists in other places, they love B flat. You see a lot of them, and you might wonder, how do you learn B flat? Well, B flat is easy, especially when you start learning it out of the gate. I've met so many musicians, they play on B flat better than I did because they learned really early on. So B flat, see that? See, all white. And then you can even add some of the stranger notes. So if I was going to play a D minor, sometimes I could indulge myself in an E. So watch this. See that? Oh, I love that note. Ooh, that's crazy. So much fun. I love all the keys, my friends, all the keys. There is no key that is off limits. No key that's off limits. And that's why when I'm soloing, if you've watched any of my Go Keys videos, when I am soloing, you know what I do? I do not relegate myself to any key. So I could be doing a jam like this. Let's go to an R&B jam. I could be doing a jam like this. Watch this, like this. I could be doing a jam like this. So I could start off on an A. I want to make sure you're hearing what I'm saying. So I could start off on an A minor. See, like this. And I could suddenly go to a key that people wouldn't expect, like an F sharp. Imagine from an A minor to an F sharp major, like this. Well, you get the idea. I don't want to make it a jam session, but what I'm trying to show you is when you have mastered all of those keys, my friends, when you get further down the road in your music, you can be so experimental, so expressive, not relegated to, oh, I can only play on C. I'm going to avoid C sharp. No. You don't want that to be your evolution. Okay? Take it from me. You want to have total command of all the keys. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox. Let's take a look at all of these black notes. Now, for the black notes, because they can be quite confusing, okay? I have included the notes in this case, as well as the white notes. So you got both black notes and white notes. And it's on purpose because I know for those of you who are just learning, it could be hard to identify what is what. So I made it easy, all right? So that's D flat, 2 white notes, E flat, major. You got 4 white notes, okay? G flat major, you've got 2 white notes, which is always interesting. That key is, it could be challenging if you got to watch it. It's not the black notes that make it hard. It's the awkward B and F, because even on the white notes, B and F, they don't appear very often as buddies or neighbors. You get what I'm saying? Think about it like this. So on the key of C, you've got B, because C flat is really B, right? But on the key of D, you don't have F. On the key of E, you don't have F. On the key of F, you've got F, but you don't have B. You got B flat. On the key of G, you don't have F. On the key of A, you don't have F. And on the key of B, you don't have F. So when you think of it, F only appears on the key of C and the key of F in the white notes. So when you convert that over to G flat major, and there's a presence of B, which is, called C flat in this case, but C flat and F, having those two, your fingers aren't used to seeing those a whole lot together. So it becomes a little bit strange, a little bit awkward to have these two, right? And my fingers would always want to go to the C, not the C flat on this one. Okay, just telling you all the secrets, my friends. A flat, you got C, F, and G, 3 white notes. And last but not least, on B flat, you got C, D, F, G, A. So much stuff to cover, my friends. We've been going pretty strong for 40 minutes, and I think it's time for us to shut it down, because I know some of you are going to have to eat this like multiple times for it to stick. I know there's a lot of work to be done, but we can start off in baby steps, okay? Just remember your code, 24th of November, 1935, right? Use that as a guide, and then remember the same code for the black notes, 24th of February, 935. See, and once you get your head around those, it becomes easier to tackle the behemoth. Okay, 12 notes of so many permutations and so many conversations. All right, so let's take it from the top. Let's take a look at the black notes. We got D flat major, also known as C sharp major, right? We got E flat major, also known as D sharp major. We got G flat major, also known as F sharp major. We got A flat major, also known as G sharp major. We got B flat major, also known as A sharp major. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our session for today on major scales. Also, don't forget the do plus 1 plus 1 plus half plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus half. Because when you do that, you're going to get all of the other keys I showed you. It's all going to make sense. Like when you take a look at this again is the same do plus 1 plus 1, right? Do plus 1 plus 1 plus half plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus half. That's it. All right, my friends, I'm off my soapbox. Lesson is over. You're free. I'm just going to have a little jam session and enjoy myself a little bit before I hang up for the day. Here we go. Let's have some fun with some Philly pop. Let's go.